Hey guys, Stealth here, welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. This is the second part to my first episode, where I had a couple of destroyers from, well, essentially different car brands face off against each other. The victor of the last round was the German torpedo beetle. The Volkswagen torpedo beetle, and it carries all of these torpedo tubes. It's a 2, 3, 2, and a 4 on the stern, with a couple of 5-inch guns on single turrets. Now, the issue with this particular ship is that it is extremely stealthy. It's extremely hard to see, and considering its very low profile, as it has minus 15% draft, you get a detectability of 3.5 kilometers, and of course this gets battled out against the enemy spotting capability. It, however, has great spotting capability itself, because it is German and thus over-engineered with radar rangefinder 3. The contestant today is the French destroyer. This is the Renault Mega. No, not the Renault Megane, the Renault Mega. The Renault Mega does 39 knots, displaces 3,853 tons, comes in at 82 million, making it substantially more expensive than the German destroyer, and is armed with a lot of these 5-inchers. They got a couple of 5-inchers on the bow, 2 amidships, and 1 torpedo launcher on the stern. The funnel was all the way over there, which is essentially a bit of a weird layout. But by having the guns like this, the ship can essentially bring all of her guns to bear at a 15, maybe 25 degree angle. She pays for this, however. Her pitch is pretty bad. Roll is not that great, and she has a slight aft weight offset. It's a cramped ship, but it is a fast ship at 39 knots. Now, her spotting, or her detectability, is 38 to 22, which means that, with her minus 15% draft, she too is pretty hard to detect. Her detectability, however, or rather how good she can spot, is 17,455 meters. These guys only get about half, the Germans. So let's see which one is going to win. We're starting at 12,000 meter range. AI control on. The enemy is spotted to the north. Let's see. Normally, with this German destroyer, whenever you start a battle, you instantly detect the enemy. This time around, not so much, but considering the constant course changes, the AI, based on the radar, does know where the target is. And the target has been detecting us, apparently, and is shooting back. That's pretty bad news for the torpedo beetle. Because while it is a low profile, and while it does have some armor, it's not terribly quick to close the distance. And as long as it doesn't detect the target, it cannot use its large torpedo armament either. That's a lot of 5-inch shell fire coming in there. Okay, torpedo beetles are turning hard starboard. What's your plan? Might be trying to get the firing back with the guns. Look at this thing drift, though. Where are you going? It seems that whenever the AI ship, figures out that it has torpedoes, it always tries to use the torpedoes first, as it's the safest way to go. But apparently, with the torpedo beetle, it turns away so much that it loses detection. That could give the Renault over here a pretty decisive advantage. Because, there you go, the torpedo beetle turns very hard to starboard with a very, very good turning circle. But because of that, loses detection, and it's not launching torpedoes. Also, not aided by the fact that I have torpedoes on this ship ranging 13.6 kilometers. And, well, I'm not exactly sure about the direction of travel of the French destroyer. But I think it is heading south, southwest-ish. There. And that means it is essentially inside of torpedo range, but whether it's going to stay inside of torpedo range is the big question. At least they seem to be maintaining a pretty steady course. Now, the torpedo beetle has been hit a few times, but it's been shot at almost 300 times at this stage. And the damage so far has been negligible. This has to do with the French damage, or rather, the French shells, or rather the lack of damage that they have. Because they're not that great. Yes, it has a lot of firepower, but it's not necessarily firepower that's going to kill you. I think that the HE shells in the French destroyer are even worse. Torpedo Beetle tries it again. And shot at almost 400 times now. How many shells does that French boat carry? Because if she does not carry that many shells, she's going to run out of ammo. There she is again. Identification's less than halfway there. I believe I did put the torpedoes on, or well, the entire ship, electro-hydraulic turrets. So they should be turning around pretty quick. But the torpedo launchers don't turn fast enough for the ship, once it gets detected, to actually start launching torpedoes. You can see the mid-torpedo launchers doing a, well, making an attempt. But yeah, they're still 10 clicks out. Another pen. It's not damaging any of the modules just yet. Another pen. Shot at 570 times. Oh dear. There she is again. Torpedo Beetle has slowed down very slightly, but can still pretty much do 32 knots. Ah, ricochet. Lucky. Could have been worse. Could have been the actual damage. What's the plan here, Frenchie? Because the French doesn't have to push in. The French boat can just stay at range. Essentially just chilling and, well, maintaining fire or maintaining pressure on the German DD with the guns. Another pen. Ship now has to slow down somewhat due to battle damage. Uh-oh. Partial pen. Identification's coming up soon. 85%. We've been shot at 700 times. How many shells do those guns carry? That's a lot. And we have not done any damage with the Torpedo Beetle itself. Once again, it turns towards the French boat, trying to keep detection, trying to fight at least, or at least trying to fire something back. Nope. Almost had a full ID. Close, though. Very close. Get in there. Protect it. There you are. 98, 99, 100. Oh! They're fine. They still have 982 AP shells left and more in HE. Oh dear. The Renault Mega, however, is struggling to actually hit something. Because this boat is so low profile. Target fast speed, target small size, targets maneuvering. It's very difficult to get accurate. Now the Mega does have a torpedo launcher. It's this thing, it's just a 20-incher on the stern with low range, as it's a fast torpedo, so it's not really going to do anything useful here. That's problematic for the German. Uh-oh. I think our armor so far has held up pretty well. 16 ricochets, 2 blocked. A mere 6 full pens. Yeah, they're having all sorts of trouble penning a destroyer. Because these shells... we're finding 10,000 meter range. They're doing about 3.8 inches of pen. But this German destroyer has 1.5 inches of forebelt, so essentially 3 inches and change. And that means that the Renault is struggling with it. All the more interesting, though, are the HE shells from the Renault. Because they are pure incendiary shells. And at 10,000 meters, they just don't do anything. So this fight could take a while. There's the first real damage to the Torpedo Beetle. Engines out, ship's taking some light flooding. I think they'll be able to get rid of that flooding. Well, they're still struggling with that engine. It is right in the... Oh, there goes your rudder. It's in the compartment that seems to be directly beneath the funnel. So it could be pretty bad. Now, whereas in the previous video, the Torpedo Beetle just murdered the Aston Martin from the Brits, I think that the French boat is going to just pull one over. and probably completely destroy this guy without taking any damage. Speed is reduced to 24 knots, which means that closing in is far less likely. Renault still has plenty of ammunition and has started firing high explosive, which means its chances to pen are even lower. This is going to be interesting. What are you doing? There goes... Yeah, your rudder's still out. Look at the turn. It's doing all sorts of weird turns, trying to get back into range of the target. But the rudder's not helpful. Our turn to port, and is doing an S-turn. Still no visual on the French. Well, at least your main tower hasn't been hit yet. Oh, but you're flooding again. Oh dear. Oh dear. Another hit. Ricochet though. I thought this was a pretty good design. But it's not good enough. And again, the French guy is just twice as expensive. Courtesy... Oh, by the way, their radar is worse. They get a Generation 2 radar. Why is this thing so much more expensive? Speed. Speed always makes a boat more expensive. They got an 89,000 horsepower engine on this. And 38,000 on this. So yeah, it's the engine. The engine's far, far, far more expensive. More flooding. They are starting to run a little low on the AP shells. Let's see. If the AP shells run out, the ship's going to fire its entire complement of HE shells and then close the distance to make sure that the 3-inch guns work. When it does that, it has to stay within, let's say, 7 to 8 kilometer range. And at that point, the torpedo beetle could be a serious threat with its torpedoes. So while it's not looking good for the torpedo beetle at the moment, it's not done. It hasn't lost the fight yet. Let's continue. I was wondering when this would happen. The French ship has so little ammunition left and such a low accuracy that it's not actually firing anymore. I don't think it's going to turn towards the target either. It's just going to sort of stay at the 10 kilometer range away from the Volkswagen and do nothing. This is going to make for a hard decision. Who do I give the win to? If the French ship can keep it up, she will easily win it. Yeah, I'm going to give this one to the French. Because the torpedo beetle has been crippled. It's not fast anymore. Its rudder is pretty terrible. It's taken flooding in 3 separate compartments that it cannot fix. That engine is out permanently. So, yeah, I'm gonna hand this one to the French. Let's come up with a different design to beat the French. Who have we not had yet? Well, the US, of course. Let's see about a US destroyer. Make it big. Make it okay speed, 35 knots. What sort of engine should we give this guy? Turbo electric is tricky because the AI generally doesn't know how to make use of it. It really benefits from slowing down and speeding up to dodge torpedoes, but that is something the AI just does not do. They always floor it. They always make it go as quickly as possible. And yeah. Let's see. What sort of guns are we putting on this? Maybe quads. Well, not quads. 444s. What sort of flavor should I give the Americans? Unbalanced rudder, shaft. See, having a fat destroyer is almost mandatory because if you have a sleek destroyer, then the tower doesn't fit anymore. At least the modern Tower 4 doesn't. Let's see, they do have this nice platform here that you can also put some secondary guns on. Sort of. There. You know what? It's American. Let's give it as many guns as possible and give it the speed to get into range. How about that? Group. Double survivability. What else? What else? What else? What else? Let's give them standard capped shells. Armor piercing capped. And base fuses for their HE. That should allow them to do a fairly decent amount of damage. Reduced boilers is good enough. Where else can we put the guns? Here, here. Still gotta throw in a torpedo launcher somewhere. There on the side. Giving it more draft is not necessarily better for this particular design. Although... well, it might work. It might work. Because getting more draft means that the ship is more resistant to taking hits. Yeah, let's try that. Give it a bit of radar. Give it a bit of sonar. Give it a rangefinder. Electric. Semi-auto. Shells are fine. Tube. Standard ratio. I cannot even click barbette. Because while it has it, I haven't actually added any barbettes. In the moment that you add one, it immediately becomes unlocked, I suppose. I just don't have... well, I might have room for one. Ah, it's not long enough. If I push this forward, is it going to be long enough then? Yes. No. More. No. What I could try is adding another... there you go, a smaller gun. Aft weight offset's a bit high. 40%. That's unsafe to run with. How about doing something a little weird on the bow? There you go. Still, however, pretty hefty aft weight offset. Probably comes from the torpedo launchers. If I put this farther back, and this farther back, like so, should be able to add a torpedo launcher here amidships. 9.6. 9.9. The ship is overweight, however. 2 per side? 10.9. It's still too heavy on the stern. Damn. Forward. Forward. 7.8. Yikes. I can sort of balance it out. I mean, it won't be pretty. But I can use the main, or the 4 belt armor to fix that. And actually that might... yeah, it might line up with the role of this destroyer. Because it has most of the firepower on the bow. So in that sense it might work. Detectability, 3683. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I got a bit of displacement left. Let's put a bit on the superstructure, a bit on the foredeck, a bit on the aft deck. Perfectly balanced the ship out. Pitch is very low. Roll is quite good. Could I put 2 more turrets on the stern? Yes. Now the ship's properly overweight, and I have my aft weight offset back. How am I gonna fix this? More 4 belts. Gotta have autoloaders, of course. Sacrifice the turret rotation speed then. Foredeck. Ooh, there goes your pitch. I mean, I like this setup. It's not necessarily ideal. But it is distinctly American, as it has a lot of guns. And of course, we gotta come up with a funny name for this thing. So this is gonna be the Ford Model DD. Okay then. Go take on the French. They have a standing record. Break it. AI on. Have a go. Yep, these two are gonna make their escape first. What the hell? Where are you going? Have you also detected the American destroyer? Maybe not. Maybe not. But they do have radar. Where are you going? Where are you going? Are we just gonna sort of run around each other here? That would make for a pretty sad battle. Bit of a weird design, this one. I really hope the AI is going to make use of that bowing capability. Or, well, not stern in, but showing your stern and using the stern guns. Maybe some divine intervention here is in order. I'm going to lift the control away from the AI, get the ship to engage the enemy. Or at least move towards the enemy. Because this is going to get tedious, especially if the French just keep steaming in a steady line. I mean, they don't even try and look for me. Intercept them right about here. We have torpedo range. Gun range is going to be limited to mere 9.8. Sorry, 9.1 or 8.8. So we're going to have to get pretty close to use the guns. And they have a range of, I think, 10 something. Oh, come on. Let's just do this again, but at 9,000 meters. Go. AI on. Stop running. Oh, you immediately dumped your torpedoes in the water. The French has detected the American destroyer. And has overpenned it already. Wow, that was fast. Oh, it's not looking good. Conning tower has been immediately damaged. What are you doing? Oh, it thinks it's a torpedo boat. It thinks it's a torpedo-built destroyer. It's first going to launch all of its torpedoes, and then it's going to try and close the distance and gun them down. That's not how you treat this French destroyer at all. Because this French destroyer will shoot you and kill you before that happens. Here comes the next salvo. Eventually. 15-kilometer range. I think it cannot use the angle. Ugh. This is so sad. This is another one of those things that highlights just how much this game needs work. Because this AI on the DD is just not doing anything. There, now it launched torpedoes. It's flooding. Its conning tower has been damaged. These two torpedoes are very unlikely to hit. They've lost a torpedo launcher. Uh-oh. That's the torpedo launcher on the other side. Flooding is continuing to worsen. Secondary tower has been damaged. Oh dear. Oh, there's more. Engine 3's out. Rudder's out. Oh no. And I think that the French are going to be detecting these torpedoes pretty early. They got sonar 1. It's just that their turning circle for a DD is pretty atrocious. Yeah, they have detected the torps. And they're turning away. They're turning away. Kind of leaving the fort here to its own devices. Come on, dude. This thing is crewed by veterans, but it's essentially crewed by a noob AI. They really don't know how to use it. It's also out of torpedo range. Damn, I thought these battles were going to be interesting. The first battles were interesting, and this is just boring. Fix the damn AI. Let's intervene. Go towards the enemy. And start shooting back. Instead of just running away and getting very slowly, but definitely methodically killed by the French. Come on. 10 kilometers, 10 and a half, 10-3, 10-2, 10-1. They're gonna get very accurate. Finally. At least we're gonna be able to use that bow setup now. And all guns are firing. It's just that as our radar got taken out, accuracy is down to 1.5%. Watch this though. If I give the control back to the AI, it's going to probably do a starboard turn. Try to leave the area. And just not fight. Watch this. Here. Port turn. And don't tell me that this is the better choice that the AI has to avoid contact. It's not how the AI works. Oh, here we go. Come on, get the guns on target. Hello? There we go. They're very, very, very slowly towards the target, but... yeah, they're only advanced hydraulics. There we go. Range is now only 6 kilometers. Can they pen the French ship? Yes, definitely. Thing is, the French is fighting back with 6 of her guns? What is going on with the B turret? Finally, damage on the Renault. Ah, there comes the next turret. Boom. Overpen. I'm no longer in control of the Ford. So they're now actually going to duke it out. But they should have done this like 20 minutes ago. It's just that the Renault is not taking any damage. And the Ford is. Oh, and a lot of it. Extensive fire. Good lord, this was a boring battle. I'm sorry, guys. Alright, next round is going to be the battleships. We're going to be designing battleships as if they were designed by AI. Sorry, as if they were designed by car brands. And I hope that you guys will join me for that, which is going to be the next video. For now, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon for more videos.